YouTube, V2G back with you. We just saw Spider-Man Far From Home opening night, unless you went yesterday at midnight. So, but July 2nd, first day. What'd you guys think? Opening thoughts?
Amazing.
Fantastic.
A good way to, after the grievances for Endgame, it gave you passion, hope, and a new future, and kind of what the fuck we're gonna do now. It kind of took your mind off.
Yeah, it was like 3 movies in one. Like
it was, yeah.
Like a Remembrance, then like a teen love story, and the action.
Well, you remember this is our end to the Infinity Saga and our end to Phase 3.
Yeah.
So this is everything after this is kind of just completely new territory for us. It was, but like Sean said, it was a good way to say it. Kind of was 3 or more, kind of encompassing different stories and feelings all in one there.
And a good vibe, put together real well. I think it's better than Homecoming.
I'd have to agree with that. I'd say it's better than Homecoming.
They really, they showed his more passionate about Spider-Man's acting skills more. Like, this right here, he went through hell.
You get the shit beat. Even if you take the train out of it, everything else.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Obviously,
Spider-Man
spoilers
2
again, guys.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
I'm talking about,
But
Spider-Man 2 got his ass whooped. Like, I'm talking about
he was limping, he was hurting. Like, he definitely felt it in this one. And
hit by a fucking train.
like again, spoilers, for a guy that didn't even really have any powers or any actual thing that he was hitting with per se, Spidey was hurting in this one.
Yeah.
He was feeling it.
Well, starting with the beginning, like the setup of the initial video from the school thing was hilarious.
Yeah.
But just the way that they, in 5 minutes, caught you up with 8 months, and they go into everything, and they said the blip and what happened.
Even the ages that they acknowledge that people are older than when they call it the blip now instead of the snap or whatever.
Yeah.
But they acknowledge that people are older.
The fucking dick in the movie gained 5 years, but every other person in the class is the same age.
Yeah, basically, because everyone's like, oh, how is Peter and Ned gonna be still in the same grade and stuff if everyone else got older? So they kind of acknowledged a bit there. The scene in the basketball court was hilarious when everyone just popped back. That was funny.
The band came out of
nowhere.
Yeah. Whoop.
But like Sean was saying, the beginning really set it up really well. You kind of knew that we were established with Spider-Man after Endgame and kind of what he was doing. We didn't get that scene that was in the trailer, I noticed, of him with the cops, where he was in the Iron Spidey costume. So I did notice that wasn't in there. But we got most of the stuff we saw in the trailers.
Technically, he didn't fight no crime in New York.
No, yeah, it was all on the road.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And then right from the beginning, you could tell that it was orchestrating. They were supposed to go to Paris second. They had to add the Prague part.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Fury was hooking them up with the upgrading of the trip, which was cool. But basically, they were dictating what was going on. And
it was all behind the scenes stuff.
The chaperones had no idea. And the funniest line in the whole movie was the chaperone about his wife.
Yeah.
Left them. She faked that she was dead.
Oh my God.
It was a fake funeral. No, it wasn't really fake. I paid for it, but...
Yeah, for the blip and everything. That was hilarious.
And then she came back.
What's the actor's name? I forget his name. Stein or something?
Yeah, I forget.
From Freaks and Geeks. He's hilarious as the teacher. He's hilarious.
Then the other guy just had the one line the whole time.
BJ Smoove.
Yeah.
BJ Smoove in there was...
I'm a science teacher. This isn't science.
Witchcraft. It's witches.
We're going home.
But then we kind of obviously moved into the main bulk of the story, which was the whole Mysterio and the Elementals and the trip into Europe, obviously.
They showed a quick thing in Mexico right at the beginning.
Yeah, that was.
They didn't even show Morocco, but they talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got rid of Hydro Man, which was a sick scene, but it was probably the 7th best scene of the action in the movie because of everything that came after that. But then he got rid of him pretty quickly, and then. Not knowing a lot about the comics, I knew something was going to flip. I thought maybe he would, this whole thing wasn't fake. I thought, it was real. Mm-hmm. He would beat the 4th guy with Spider-Man's help and then realize, I can be bigger than Spider-Man. I could be the new Tony, and then go from there. But they did the thing that it was all fake, and it's all with the projectors, and if it wasn't for that one projector, just like every movie, if it wasn't for that one little thing, it never would have fallen apart, but...
True.
Yo, but he had a mind fuck. I'm telling you. He was mind fucking Spider-Man. He was just wait a minute, what?
I mean, it is the MCU has always been focused around Tony and Stark and everything like that. So it is another movie where it does kind of fall under that umbrella of it, kind of all evolved from Tony and the Stark technology and everything like that.
Yeah, nobody's ever been so vital in a movie after they died.
Yeah.
In any movie.
But a lot of Easter eggs in there, guys, as well. Mysterio dropping the 616 reference. even Hydro Man, even though we, obviously come to realize that the Eternal, so Molten Man isn't really Molten Man, like Hydro Man isn't really Hydro Man, but they did have the name drop in there of like him being in a chemical whatever, like becoming Hydro Man. So that was kind of cool, but it was that classic Mysterio storyline. Like I was telling the guys before we even saw the movie, once they got their Mysterio pops, like he was gonna be the villain. You knew from day one. When he debuted in the comics, it was the same thing. He came out, had this facade of being a hero and pretended, and then ultimately was the villain at the end. And it was the same thing. They did it. Jake Gyllenhaal killed it as Quentin Beck. You really actually liked him a lot in the beginning, and then when he does turn, you really do hate him. Like he played that character really well.
Yeah.
The effects were really awesome. Like that's the one thing you expect from Mysterio is just really awesome special effects and just that like the way it messes with Spidey's mind and how he had to overcome it and use his Spidey sense. I'm not saying Peter Tingle, it's just it's stupid. But use his Spidey sense to kind of overcome it. But the scenes were really, really cool when he was like messing with Spidey and all the special effects and just stuff like that. It was really cool. It reminded me, I was telling Kenny about like the Batman Arkham like Scarecrow type scenes.
Oh my
very,
God.
very similar to
that whole sequence was crazy. When
definitely with the Tony Graves.
Yeah, he came out of the grave.
Funny thing, I don't know if you ever realized, but Daredevil's like blind. So whenever Daredevil fights Mysterio, he literally beats him with like one punch. Because like all Mysterio stuff does nothing. Like Daredevil's like, why do I hear all these noises and like all this stuff's happening? But he literally just can always just see Mysterio's like standing in front of him, and he always just. So it's always funny whenever Daredevil just like fights Mysterio.
Yeah, he went through some hell with this one. He gave him a fucking problem.
Yeah.
Before we even talk about the end part, which is his own little talk about that.
It's like 3 endings.
Just quickly, the grades. I'd give it a 5. I would say, obviously, Endgame is still the movie of the year, but this, I wasn't like going in expecting anything bad. I thought it was to be a solid movie, but the action brought it up to where it could have been a 4, but I'd say the action definitely should see it in theaters for that part. And the storyline's very good. The acting is good. Little tiny bit long, but I don't know what they would have taken out. But it wasn't too bad. What do you think, John?
Oh, you going to me? Okay. It was. I agree with Sean. Like it was on the 4 line for a minute there, but to me personally, it kept pumping out just like comic reference and just like even PS4 game. Like it had that vibe of the characters. Like the whole Aunt May at the homeless shelter, like giving away the check with Spider-Man was very similar to like the PS4 game. That's what I felt with that vibe right there. Zendaya really coming in as MJ, like I really felt she came into her character as her own there, kind of standing up for herself at the end and doing her own investigative stuff, which has always been MJ's thing, is like she's kind of her own reporter character in a way, but she like kind of figured out that he was Peter Parker and Spider-Man at the same time. So I really like the way they evolved her character a lot. But like I said, a lot of cool Easter eggs, a lot of just really good Spider-Man stuff. So I definitely give it a 5 as well. I mean, I got the freaking web tattoo there, so I'm a Spidey guy. But yeah, like I said, if you're a Spidey fan, it's really a fan service movie, and definitely pleases the Marvel fans as well, of course. Let's bring it to Kenny over here.
I give it a 5, yo. He's
5 across the board.
Definitely over there. Building his fucking suit in the jet.
That was tough.
I mean, Kenny, we all know Kenny's the big Iron Man fan, so I'm pretty sure he was happy getting to see the torch being passed down.
He's building his suit and just taking different parts, just like
just seeing Happy look at him and like smiling,
like he's over there just working it and just building his shit. Like, oh, okay. It kind of not no reference to the same movie, but it kind of had the same feeling when Fast and Furious came out. When Ryan O'Connor was building his skyline, and it kind of like he was like, I want this and that, but it kind of got the feeling where it's like, oh shit, you're going back to the original model, but not the same thing, but it was
got that vibe again.
It got a good vibe, but it was a good
throwing in the parachute and the wing.
Yeah, like it was. Yeah. You were happy. You were happy. Yeah, exactly. Like we all thought that you were finally happy to see him get his design. After the homemade suit, and then Tony giving him his first suit, and then the Iron Spider, and then the stealth. Like he finally got to make his own and do what he wanted with it.
Definitely when he realized he needed electricity in his web shooting, kind of felt like back when Amazing Spider-Man 2, when he figured out how to beat him. He was like, all right, I'm gonna get this, and he was like, all right. But it was good. He went to school on it. He was very smart.
Yeah,
Very
you got the
smart.
glimpse of that too when he was like first talking to Mysterio
Yeah,
and Fury
he was
about
like-
the different
Yeah, and he was like,
multiverse
he said, "Don't
fake
apologize for being the
multiverse.
smart person in the room." So
Yeah, that was a
that
good
was
line.
that was a good line.
That was a good line.
That was a good line. He really respected him, and he really did. But he was like, like come with casualty. So
I know
like,
Kenny loved the call outs to the old characters that they had for like the movies.
Yeah.
When they brought back like the dude that Stain was yelling at and
Oh
all
my
that stuff.
God.
Yeah.
Iron Man 1, like
Part of-
that.
yeah.
That
part of his
was
team.
that was dope.
Yeah.
That was like, oh, that was like when you realize Iron Man 3, when the guy was in the cave with him, was in Iron Man 3 in the beginning. Remember the guy he was in the cave with?
In 3?
He was in the cave with 1.
Jensen, but
Jensen,
Jensen
but
died.
he was
Yeah,
in 3.
Jensen- Well, but that was like a flash.
Yeah, it was a flash, but
Yeah.
it was kind of like, oh, okay, that's how you knew. Like, oh.
Well, even the callback to the barf, like I always wondered like what they were gonna do with that because they kind of left it open. But that was like you finally were like, that's the whole reason that they showed that off in Civil War was that this was kind of the ultimate conclusion that they had for that whole technology and stuff like that. So that was really cool. They tied that together. And then I don't know if you guys heard, but apparently Tom Holland has I think at least like 5 or 6 more movies.
I can see it.
They're doing a trilogy as him in high school. So I think they have one more movie where he's in high school. Then they're doing college trilogy and then adult trilogy. So they
Wow.
really have 9 movies planned,
Jesus.
3 each. So we have a lot more Spider-Man.
For that to
Tom
be the
Holland.
second
Like,
one, where the hell's it going?
yeah, like I don't think they're counting Civil War, Endgame, Infinity War as part of that like that sequence. So I think we do have like another high school movie, and then we're gonna have the 6 college and then to adulthood movies.
Yeah. Well, if where we thought the movie was ending was the actual end, still would have been great.
Well, you don't count.
But-
you don't count Endgame though and Infinity War for him for that.
I don't think for that sequence because that would be 4 movies
Even if they
already.
did,
and
it's
he's still in
another
high
3.
school.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Worst case is
Actually,
probably
5,
another 3.
that's-
5 movies technically, and he's still in
shit.
high school. So
But the actual scene at the end of the actual movie before the end credits.
with him swinging with MJ.
Yeah, when he was swinging with MJ, and then they're right by the garden,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
and on the big video
No,
board.
that was the end credits. That was the first credit scene.
Okay, okay.
So the actual ending is just him swinging with MJ.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. And then,
which was
and then
cool.
the mid credits, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, like they just do a really good job of him like swinging around New York, having a good time. I always like those scenes. But then, yeah, of course, like Sean said, he goes and picks up MJ, which ends the actual movie, and then the first, the mid credit scene.
Fuck.
Oh, there's a bug.
Ah,
Sean,
Spider-Man!
that was appropriate.
So anyway, they have, CNN pops up, I think it was, or NY1 or one of those channels.
Yeah, the guy's been in other Marvel stuff.
Yeah, so he's just like,
Breaking
We're
news,
back.
you know.
and then they showed the video, and that was classic with
Man back here.
Mysterio and how he, I don't know, I guess
Well, he
one
said,
of his guys.
yeah, he
put
said
all
he's
the
like,
clips
they'll
together.
believe anything. So he kind of had that contingency, knowing, I guess, he wasn't going to make it at the end.
Yeah.
But he basically, yeah, he did that classic scene of turning Spider-Man to the bad guy and making New York hate him, which we all expected. That's always a classic. But J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah coming back, that was amazing. That was
Yeah.
literally like everyone in the theater was so happy, was laughing. Like it was a great scene. He killed it, obviously. He just had to be himself again. But ultimately, the crazy reveal of Mysterio just giving away Peter Parker's identity as Spider-Man, which
Yeah.
Kenny literally leaned over and was like, have they ever done that in the comics? Like, and I don't think they've ever done it that way. Like, he's definitely revealed his identity, but I think they did some whole thing where like then he sold his soul to the devil and like everyone forgot. It was like some crazy stuff. But
How's he ever gonna go to school now?
that's this movie, like Sean said, like in the
Crazy.
beginning, you know, this leaves a lot of different kind of open endings and questions for future movies. So that ends there with kind of public enemy number 1 being Spider-Man and him being outed as Peter Parker.
Like, what the?
And then the actual end after credit scene, you have Fury and Hill driving an SUV, and then kind of as you can predict, they're revealed to be Skrulls. So you have Talos from Captain Marvel and his wife as Fury and Hill. And they're kind of joking about messing up and like, you know, that wouldn't have really happened if Fury was here himself and blah, blah, blah. And then he gives a call and they kind of have it where he's on the phone and he's talking to somebody. You can't tell who it is. And he's like, all right, we need you to come back. He's like, everyone's asking where the Avengers are. We can't do this anymore. So then ultimately you see Fury, he's chilling on the beach, but you find out in reality he's on the Skrull ship. So everybody in theater was like, what is going on? You know, like nobody really knew what what that could mean, what it could lead to, this, and that. A lot of questions, no answers. But that's kind of, so that was our second end credit scene. We brought back the Skrulls, and that's really going to lead into Phase 4, whatever it may be. I know we're talking about Eternals. Other than that, we got the Black Widow movie, but we'll see. There's a lot of doors that Marvel left open.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have Skrulls, we have space stuff, we have... I don't know if they're going to really do the multiverse, but yeah, they got the Asgardians and all this other stuff. And
so technically, there's not another dimension.
That was part of the story, but you never know. I was curious because once he said the 616, that's what threw me off. But that was a cool, like I said, Easter egg.
All right, guys. I guess we'll wrap it up there. 5s across the board.
Definitely.
Go see Spider-Man in theaters just for the action alone. It won't be the same on TV or.
No way.
Yeah, it's even kind of worth, I would say, 3D or IMAX. If you're into that, it doesn't have to be, but
it's worth IMAX.
Yeah, that's true. The glasses, I know.
Well, then again, I think it's worth 3D because that scene with him, that shit was dope. His illusions was on
the effects. For the effects themselves, it'd probably be worth it.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, IMAX, that'll be dope.
Yeah, I might see it the second time.
It was some good shit.
I think we're all gonna see it a second time
in IMAX this time though. As we saw regular.
There you go, guys. Still, 5s across the board and recommended seeing in IMAX.
Shout out to Majestic.
Yep, new seats, new theater. Yeah, nice experience. I hadn't been in that exact theater in a while.
Yeah, we brought Sean out on a Tuesday for a premiere, so it was definitely a big night.
Don't feel like a Tuesday.
Marvel. Vogel Nation and Optic Island. Seeing it tomorrow, but we won't spoil anything. Edith, what's up?
Where are my shoes?
Like this video, subscribe, and follow. All the
Instagrams
below. Good night.